All right. Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Product Training with Blue Triangle. Today, we're going to talk about an exciting new feature in our portal, which you can get to simply by clicking the blue triangle icon in the top left side of the portal. This new page is designed to be your central hub for monitoring and analytics. So no matter what your focus is when you go into Blue Triangle, this page is going to allow you to see at a glance how things are doing. And even more important, when there's an issue, you'll be able to drill in and investigate that issue straight from this page. So again, we're very excited to show this off to you, and there's much more to get into. But first, before we get started, if you've joined us before, you know we'll post a recorded version of our session today in our Help Center. So if you'd like to share this, you can do that at help.bluetriangle.com. Also, we'll save time at the end of the session for questions. So feel free to ask those questions during the session today using the tab to the right of your screen. All right, so let me introduce Tim Grant, who is our founder and CTO. And Tim will be walking you through this new page today and everything it can do. So Tim, really appreciate your time today, and we look forward to hearing from you. So I'll go ahead now and pass it over to you.
Hey, thanks, Mark, and welcome to today's weekly training. Normally, Mark or somebody from the team is jumping in doing these, so I'm glad to be able to jump on and do this today, because the homepage is a particularly new and exciting part of our portal, and I wanted to share that with you personally. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to walk you through some of the key features, and then we'll flip over to the portal and show you some stuff live. All right, so on today's training, we're going to basically go over the new homepage, what's on the homepage, what should you pay attention to, and what you need to know about the scoring module, what is anomaly detection, and how you can use it to be effective at performance analysis and responding to issues live, and just generally how to use the new page. Okay, the way you get to the page is clicking on the blue triangle icon in the top left of the homepage, and that's where we've placed that for now. Really, what we're doing in the new homepage is we're bringing together a lot of different facets of what we do. We collect real user monitoring data, and we lots of dashboards and capabilities for you. So we already have dashboards around real user monitoring and then ways to drill in and find problems, drill down all the way into the exact issue, if it's a JavaScript issue, or if there's a slow element on the page, or if there's some sort of a slow function causing issues. We've got tons of drill down capabilities and dashboards. And so bringing this together and including the drill down, we've got the RUM data, we've got synthetic data, which, you know, real user monitoring data is, of course, the data coming in from your actual website end users by placing the JavaScript on the tag. Synthetic data is the data that we're pulling in from our synthetic robots, which are basically staged browsers placed around the internet, collecting data on your site. We have data does actually feed in if you have, there's something called our synthetic auto scheduler. Regardless if you have synthetic measurements set up that you've set up, or if you set up the RUM measurements, data will flow in our synthetic dashboards, and it also starts getting categorized just from what we call our synthetic auto scheduler. So we're one of the only ones in the industry that really does that. And we typically will measure the top 25 pages of your site, talk to your sales engineer if you want us to cover more pages than that. And the ability to drill down, again, looking at, you know, our error state tracking to track these live and watch these in real time and live. And of course the dashboards all the way down, and now we have the ability to look at long-running functions. So all of this capability with RUM and synthetic data come together in our business to show you the opportunity to speed up the site and identify the better conversion rates for faster page speeds, as well as do revenue attribution in the business area. Our marketing area is constantly looking at your campaigns and paths through your site to show you if you've got performance bottlenecks that are causing, your end users to leave or abandon at various points in the journey. And really, it's just a matter of setting up your page names, and from that point on, our marketing module is taking that data. The tag governance and CSP area. This area is, again, this is another one of our modules. So what we're showing you is all this data, all this analysis is being pulled together. We have dashboards for these different areas and drill downs to go all the way into like this aggregate hierarchy diagram, right? And you can see the percentages of time different services are loaded. But what we realized is that we needed a central hub to bring it all together, okay? And that's what our new homepage is doing. So think of it as the front page of the newspaper, okay? You log in, you go, and you can I'll show you how to set this up in your user profile in a minute to make this the default landing page if you wish to use this as the default landing page when you first log into the portal. I'm going to point out some of the interesting features here. We are combining many constituent measurement metrics for each one of these different module areas and creating scores that are bucketed by either by minute, by 5 minutes, or by hour, or by day, depending on the length of time that you have. So you can see I've got 24 hours selected here. And what we've done is we've combined and brought together good harmony of real user synthetic data to give you all of this in one view. So the scoring module, which we'll get into in a few minutes, as well as our anomaly detection. We're calling this the top priorities module, but this module is very significant. We're looking at dozens and dozens of different metrics for each different either real user monitoring page or synthetic monitoring page, and we're breaking that out into different areas per module. So we're automatically finding the issues. Our vision for this is to automatically tell you when you have a problem with the site without having to configure dozens of alerts manually. Okay. Now you'll always have the ability to configure alerts, but we're doing a proactive measure here, and eventually this becomes more of an AI type of approach that is recommending to you what issues are on the site. We already have a robust set of anomalies feeding into this for your sites, and you'll be able to look at this live if you would like to while we're doing the call. So feel free to open another monitor window and go into the home page and start looking at this while I'm talking. The other thing is we have each one of the modules are like the other home pages and also like our dashboards. You can close and rearrange them. I'll show you a little bit about that in a few minutes. So high level, we're bringing it all into one place and showing you what the status of your site is. Okay, I'll get into some details about what the red and green actually mean here in a minute. So what do you pay attention to? We put the blue triangle scores at the top of the screen, and what we're doing there is, again, we're bringing together all 5 of our major product modules into one focused area to let you see the health of your site. If you have good performance happening on your real user monitoring, you'll see a score, and same thing with synthetic, right? So as your site changes and as things go up and down or go bump in the night, then you'll be able to see that the trend changes in your scores, okay? And I'll get into what the constituent components are for the scores and a little bit of how we're doing that calculation. But the scores inside the box are telling you, or the colors inside the box are actually telling you whether you're above or below this threshold. You'll notice right here in the middle, we have a configurable threshold range for the good, the okay, and then the bad scoring ranges, okay? And then if we look at the arrow indicators, you'll see that what we're showing you is the most recent measurement and how that's changed versus the one before that and the ongoing average. Okay, and then around each card, we are showing you a red or green outline to let you know if you have alerts that are active in that module. So for example, if you have an alert that's for slow pages or JavaScript errors or something like that, in the real user monitoring, and you have a couple of alerts like we're showing here, then we're going to put a red box around that to let you know that you have alerts, and you can see them here. The current version does not have this clickable here, but they're clickable at the top of the page, and I'll point that out just in a few minutes. Another thing that a very significant thing that we've added to our new homepage is our anomaly detection. Okay, and this feeds in critical issues, as well as there's basically an echelon of from critical all the way down to very minor observations, where our system is now intelligently finding anomaly situations and pointing them out to you, and we're applying logic behind the scenes for severity. So we have something called a severity multiplier that takes into account some things that we know about the industry, and we've built that knowledge into our severity analyzer, and then it is bubbling up to you key issues that are happening on your site. Okay, so that's the anomaly detection. I'll show you how to navigate that live in the portal here in a few minutes. And then you'll see that there's at the top, we've got critical and significant listed out and identified to tell you how many you have. Another thing that's new is we have an announcements module. You can keep this on to let you know about updates that we're making and improvements that we're making to our portal. Feel free to leave this on or take it off if you want to use the page a little bit more strategically. We do recommend that you look at this occasionally so that you understand whenever there's key changes that are coming up or changes that may have happened that will enhance our capabilities. Then another thing that we've added is some people call this the red, amber, green widget, but it's called error state tracking. And what it's doing is it's showing you ongoing what's happening on your synthetic measurements with a spark line, as well as whenever there's an error or condition on your site, not just the speed delay that may have happened with it, but also if there are failing pages on your site. So that error state tracking came over from and is being bubbled up into this page from the synthetic widget, as well as the slow running function. So as many of you are probably aware, we are the only ones in the industry right now tracking the slow and long running functions and placing them directly into the waterfall that you can see either in the drill down waterfalls as well as the aggregate waterfalls. And then there's another component that we're doing, which is called the bottom of the funnel analysis. I'll show you that here in a minute as well. We've also brought together the revenue opportunity and the other components flowing right into that. So what are the metrics and what do they mean on the scoring? You'll notice that there's a show detail button. I've got this blown up on the slide so you can focus on it a little bit. When you click on that, you actually get more details about the metrics and what they're doing and what the weightings of them are. And I'll get into that live here in a minute. All right, so there is a set of scoring rules that you'll have access to in the scoring that's going to be available for you to do to make custom adjustments to your scoring rules. Right, the current version does not support that yet, but it is coming. I wanted to make sure you understood that. You do have a slider bar. If you click the gear icon on the top right of the screen, you'll be able to adjust what is yellow, red, and green according to the scores. And what I'll recommend to you is don't focus so much on the number that we have in the score at the moment when you first start looking at it. What it's really designed to do is give you an indication, a baseline indication, so that you can understand how things are changing on your site and whether you're getting better or worse with respect to the way you've been performing. So the current access level is for right now is just for our devs only, but you'll be able to access these as well. So anomaly detection is another, like I said, a really key issue on our site. And we're populating those into this widget. You'll be able to click on the bar and see whether or not, see what the actual issue is. So by clicking on this bar here, you get this actions. You can either view the details, which will take you to a drill down view based on what the issue is or what the anomaly is, We're going to show you a drill down view if you click that. The other thing is, if you say, oh, I don't really care about this problem, you can just quickly dismiss or archive it quickly, and then it will come off of your list. So this is more or less a to-do list for you to look at and understand more about your site, and our system is automatically pointing these out to you so that you can view them. So if you read this one, it says a percent change of 2,621% was detected on Bing.com on your page, right? This determination was based on previous hour average, and there was a baseline of 128 milliseconds, but it went from 128 milliseconds up to 3,484 milliseconds, which would mean that this particular service in this example is having a serious problem, right? It's definitely worth looking into. Without having anomaly detection to find this for you, you might not know about it unless you set up some sort of detection and specific rules. So certainly you're going to see that you have a slow web page. That's going to be one of the results of this, and you'll have another anomaly that focuses on this. But because this is such a severe change, it's going to be pushed almost all the way to the top of the list. And that's going to let you understand quickly what are the biggest issues that are happening on the site, and help you get to the root cause of the problem very quickly. All right, so again, in each one of these areas, including JavaScript errors, synthetic RUM data, the domain performance anomalies, and then tag presence anomalies. So we're pulling together lots and lots of things. There's also Google Lighthouse score anomalies, which we'll get into in a few minutes as well. So what are we doing with our anomaly detection? This is an important kind of little diagram. We're pulling in both real user and synthetic data. We're looking at all kinds of metrics. There's a long list of metrics, in fact, that we're showing and analyzing for this. I think there's something like 35 metrics that we're doing on synthetic, at the page level. We're also looking at a number of domain level and third-party object metrics for that one. So just to give you an example, I pulled this up this is the real user anomaly detection, and this is just going down, and you can see that we're doing analysis by device and by the top pages, including top 15 pages and the revenue pages, and this is configurable as well. Okay. So what is anomaly detection really? We're taking key performance metrics and we're evaluating them for your pages, your third-party content, and then we're looking at that both with RUM and synthetic through the lens of performance for RUM and synthetic modules, and then from the standpoint of marketing and business with respect to like the business level metrics that we're pulling out of that data. Okay, so we have broken this down into minor, caution, significant, and critical. The critical being very important for you to look at. We are still tuning these, and so we would appreciate your feedback. You'll notice that we still do have that beta listed on this particular page, and we will for probably the next month or so as we continue to work with you. So we welcome your feedback as users of the portal to let us know if you think that if we've bubbled up something that's critical or significant in your anomaly detection and you really don't think it should be there. Feel free to let us know. We're actively working on making this better. We've improved it quite a bit over the first couple of weeks that we had this in production, and we welcome your feedback. So how do you use this page? What we're really focused on the whole homepage experience is we want to let you know quickly when you have a problem and what to do about it. Okay, so I'm gonna just give you kind of a big picture real quick. So when you first log in, you see everything's green, then it's fine. You may have something to look into here. You may have some anomalies to look into, but overall, everything is pretty good. You don't have any alerts at the top, and your site is humming along just fine. Okay, so immediately you can use this homepage to look for performance improvement opportunities that might help your revenue as well. So immediately, from looking at the front page of your newspaper for your site, things are healthy. Okay, now let's start thinking about a use case where suddenly you're having a problem, things start going sideways. Maybe you're having just maybe a synthetic script is failing. Okay, so this is pretty common, right? If you have a bunch of multi-step scenarios, maybe there was a minor change that happened on the site, that maybe a button that existed before doesn't exist now, or maybe there's an extra step or a step taken out of the checkout process. These things happen. And so what you'll see is real user monitoring will be fine, but synthetic's got a problem. And maybe that's an issue with a script. Could also be something, it's certainly something to look into, right? So anytime that something's showing up red, especially on your synthetic, you want to resolve that quickly. So if you and it may require, actually clicking on this and looking at the issues in the anomaly detection to tell you what's going on with the synthetic. Okay, but overall there may not be a problem yet. This is a problem. You've got red in the real user monitoring, you've got synthetic business marketing, and tag governance is yellow. So where we're moving towards this is that when we detect issues, the associated widgets will also turn red. So I've got a real user issue, and I've got a marketing and business issue. You can see the bottom of the sales funnel is now turning red. And in this example, you can see that there's a drop in the order conversion rate whenever people go from the checkout to the order confirmation. I've got issues on the synthetic on a number of pages, as well as things like the campaign overview is showing issues. So these are turning red to let you know that you have a problem. There's also our scoring suddenly went from the green zone to the yellow and then into the red, and you can see how that has changed. So there's a number of drill downs that you can do to get right into the meat of the issue to identify what the problems are. But we're also bubbling up things into the issue tracker to tell you that there's a problem, to give you a good indication of where the biggest anomalies are on your site, to give you the hint of what you should do about it. Okay. And I'll pause here for just a minute. Are there any questions?
Yeah, Tim. One came in. They were concerned about with RUM anomaly detection, possibly getting duplicate issues. So if
right.
I answered it, but if you want to just speak to that as well, that would be helpful.
Sure. Why don't you read off your answer, and then I'll elaborate.
Yeah, sure. So like you had mentioned before, the team is working on tuning the priority assigned to these anomalies, and part of that process is reducing and eliminating those duplicate anomalies. So
you might find in the issue tracker that we're reporting on a few of the same issues. We do have an active issue column to let you know if the issue is cleared, and I'll get into that here in a minute as well. But for our anomaly detection, we're doing things with the severity indicator to bubble up things that may be synonymous type issues. So if you have, let's say you have 50 pages on your site, page names, and 25 of them are having significant issue, we're going to bubble up those and they'll make it into the anomaly detection. But what is the root cause of that? It's not just usually that the page is slow and that there isn't a third party or page element related issue. We're going to bubble up the issue that's causing that page is slow. Maybe you have a slow Google APIs, right? Whenever Google APIs went down, I think a couple of years ago, it actually brought down the Google advertisements. It brought down the Google Analytics. I mean, lots and lots of things started failing. And so what you're going to end up with is maybe there's a piece of first-party content that's slowing the site down. Maybe you've got a slow function tracing function that's actually causing the page to get tied up. Maybe somebody puts some new JavaScript code onto the site and it's affecting multiple pages. And so what we've done with our severity indicators is that those kind of problems will actually bubble up to be higher in the priority list, or they should, than the page level ones. So that we're not only telling you, hey, you've got a page level issue, but the issue really is Google APIs, or the issue is maybe a piece of your first party content or some other element on the page. So we want to help you get to the performance related issue as quickly as possible. All right, so you can get to historical data by turning off the auto refresh. And let's see, anomaly detection is based on aggregate data. and will not trigger necessarily in real time, but we're getting that tuned down pretty, being within maybe 5 or 10 minutes of an actual issue. So the anomaly detection is getting faster, and we're moving that ball forward. So we have some parameters with respect to the runtime. Some of the metrics are looking at the same hour of the day and day of week. In fact, as I think most of them are actually doing that. They're looking at what the average page speed for every page of your site, but also all of the nav timing metrics are also included in that. So if you have one of the nav timing metrics that go out of norm compared to that same time of day and day of week. So for example, this is the 11 o'clock hour on Thursday, right? So it's going to look at 11 o'clock for the last 4 weeks and tell you if you're trending higher or lower than that, and then create a severity using some of the severity math that we've employed in the solution. Okay, so I'm going to switch over now and just dive right into our new homepage. And at high level, you can see that I've got a couple of alerts that in my example or my demo site here. This is all demo data and with respect to the real user monitoring data, and we're measuring like the Blue Triangle homepage and a couple other prominent sites on the internet using synthetic just in our demo environment. But what you'll see here is we have the configuration at the top for whether we can count the score as red, yellow, or green. Again, what you're really after with the scores is how are you trending, and how are the different constituent metrics that go into a particular score affecting your scores. And so where we're headed with this is the ability for you to go in and set your scores. There's a global threshold, which is basically our synthetic RUM and all the other modules. The score thresholds and that's so that you can go in and set them by your account and also for your site, or you can simply just use the global threshold. So this is right now, I believe you have the ability to edit this. We'll be giving you customers the ability to set versus account or individually for the site. And it's basically site admins and account admins will have the ability to do that. So I clicked on the show more detail under tag governance, and you can see that our scores are trending around 62, 63. The most recent time frame here, which is I'm looking at hourly data at the moment because I have the last 24 hours, and you can see the most recent hour trended down. And if I change this, I'll change this in a minute. I wanted to kind of walk through and show some of the features and functionality, but you can go as low as the last hour and get this down to way smaller buckets, or go all the way up to the most recent 90 days. The other thing that you can do is turn off the auto refresh and select a specific time period, but those are all some of the more advanced features. So I clicked on the show detail button, and that expanded and to show you the constituent metrics associated with tag governance. And you can see that we're giving a low score because there is a large number of third parties in the head of this particular site. Okay, if the more elements that you put, or third party content that you put in the head section of your page, with the head being an HTML syntax, right? I'm talking about the head section of your page. It turns out that your browsers, as you're loading things that are in the head, if there is something in the head and it's slow, it will cause your onload event to be delayed until that happens. So that was actually one of the issues with the Google APIs, and a few other prominent third-party analytics providers have had issues with this exact thing. So our general recommendation is put the least amount of things in the head section of your page, and then you'll have a better outcome. So 23% of the content is actually in the head of the page in terms of third-party content. So we're giving it a little lower score. Again, this is meant to be a baseline for you, okay? And then you can see here that we have the current weight listed. We're being as transparent as we possibly can about the way that we're calculating these scores. So we're looking at the scores. We have an upper and lower band that we're applying to this based on good performance engineering practices. And then we've got a current weighting that we're applying to each one of the metrics. So that's the way to quickly get into problems. So if you have an issue where suddenly things start going bump in the night, so to speak, you can look into this and see the things that are happening from a higher level as to what's happening on the page. So, if I look at this TCP connect time, you can see that it is fluctuating quite a bit. I can click on this metric, and this actually will pull up another page for us, which will give us things, the breakdown of TCP time by traffic segment, by page group, by device. So if I look at device, you'll get a breakdown: mobile, tablet, desktop, and you can see how things are trending for the TCP connect time. And looking at it again, we're looking at hourly buckets, and we can change that by just selecting a shorter period of time. And so this gives us a quick understanding of the TCP connect time. These are pretty slow TCP connect times for our example. And then if you want to understand how that's happening, which browsers maybe are bigger offenders, you may be able to look and find that here. So we're really giving you as much of a breakdown as possible with some of the more popular filters that you can quickly do some analysis with. And so that's one of the purposes of our new homepage, is to help you get into those problem areas more quickly. Okay, so that's the high level component for our homepage, and that's the scoring. So if you have any questions about the scoring, feel free to chime in and let us know. We're definitely working to make our systems give you the best overview. So you can see here, I did the country breakdown, and then I refreshed the page as well. So all right, so high level, I've got the scoring at the top, right? And you can drill into each one of these and drill into the constituent measurements directly from the homepage. You'll notice that I didn't leave the homepage the whole time I did that. So I'm going to talk about the widgets for just a few minutes. You can see that I do have the announcements widget here, and you can see that we have a link, and if I click on this link, it will take me over into our announcements, and then you'll get more information about the announcement from today, and you can also view other announcements. But this is showing you some of the new things related to the homepage, and we're doing more things to make this better all the time. So please do have a look at this. But if you think it's in the way, or you see you're not interested in having this arrangement, you can remove a widget just like this. And what it does is it hides it over into our widget list on the right. So you can expand or remove the widget list that you have. So there's quite a few widgets that are available to be added. If they're already over here, then they won't show up in the list over here on the right. So there's quite a long list of widgets that you can use. And then if you collapse the widget list on the right, you will not see the widget list. So that's another feature. The other thing that you may notice is that I'm using the dark theme for my example here. It's a little easier on the eyes. If you're in the portal for very much at all, I would recommend trying out one of the darker themes. It's a little easier on your eyes. Okay, and then I talked about the scoring. There's a lot going on with the scoring module. Another thing that for you to check out is the top priorities anomaly, the anomalies that we're finding here. And you can see that we have some of the anomalies already identified. You can see that we have a new column from the time we took the screenshots for the training. We have a new column here to tell you if the problem has cleared or whether the problem is active. So from right here, you can see that there was an issue that happened, that the SSL hourly trend for desktop on the homepage went up, and it was relatively minor. So but we still categorized it. Okay, and the idea is that we want to have as many of these going into our system as possible, even if they're minor, because we're building an event correlation that is going to tell you, hey, these three things went wrong at the same time, and we think this is the actual root cause. Okay, we're headed that direction. We're getting close already with the anomaly detection that we currently have. So if you click on one of the anomalies that I'm showing here, you can see that percent change of 52.1% for redirect. Okay, so the redirect time of a page went up. Okay, we don't know why, and it's for a specific page. It changed from 145 seconds to 221 seconds. And you can actually drill in and look at the details. So I'm going to actually click this button, and it's going to open me up to the performance details page so that we can drill in and look at that problem to see what was going on with that particular point in time. So I won't spend a lot of time. We have different training sessions on the performance details page and how to get around on the performance details page, but that opens up and drills you directly into that particular issue. And so you can see here there was the issue that existed briefly, and then it went away. So the other thing that I wanted to point out is it does direct you into the performance details page. You'll notice on the right side that only the redirect metric is selected. So if you want to understand, a little bit more about maybe the page views or whatever, you can see that the redirect change, it was selected here, and that it directed you into that data set. Okay, all right, back to the home page. So that anomaly detection is a huge advancement in the Blue Triangle portal, and these issues are also getting populated, many of them, into your issue tracker. There is an issue tracker training, so I'm not going to go into the issue tracker right now. But if you want to, you can go in and say, okay, I understand this. I'm going to archive this. And when you archive it, it goes off the list, and now it's not part of your view any longer. Okay, so there's a lot of functionality. We've got a lot of forward-looking things that we're going to do for this. And then you'll also notice right now the alerts that are listed here for each one of the modules are not clickable yet. We are going to make them clickable very soon, but you can see that you can go. We have 1 error state tracking, and we have 4 rules-based alerts. And the rules-based alerts, of course, are very robust, and you can set up rules for first and third-party content, RUM or synthetic data, business metrics, marketing metrics, anything you want. So those are more like the custom rules-based alerts. Okay, and if you haven't used this, if you have a number in your alarm bell up here, then I would advise you to look into those alerts. Our philosophy is, if all alerts should be actionable. If you are getting an alert and you're not paying attention to it, or you don't really care to have it, then disable it or tune it so that you're getting the alert when it matters to you. Okay, don't just. My recommendation to you is to not fall into the trap of having all of your alerts just go into some folder somewhere that you never look at, because then what good are they? I'd strongly recommend that you do set these and tune them. All right. So one other thing I want to point out in terms of housekeeping here, you can go in and edit your profile, and you can turn on and off different functions inside your profile. Like, do you want to get the CSP violations alerts, or do you want to get the domain whitelist violations from tag governance and other things like that? So that's available here. If you go in and edit your profile, you can go in and see, for example, there's a content security policies, and there are other things that you can turn on and off inside of your portal. But this is also where you go to set your landing page. So if you want to turn on a default theme when you log in, if you have multiple sites that you're inside of your account, you can select the site that you want to be the default, as well as the landing page. So once you set this and hit save, it'll then become part of your typical view whenever you first log in. Right after you enter your login, you'll land on the homepage if you want that to be your homepage. Okay, I'm going to pause real quick. Are there any questions so far, Mark?
No other questions. One other thing I just thought we should mention is there are a couple of new widgets unique to the homepage. So one of them is the revenue opportunity widget, and I know another is the function tracing, the top slowest functions by first and third party. So yeah, I see there's the function timing there to the lower left.
Yep. Yeah, definitely. So I'll cover those. So I think we have another session on the performance overview page that covers the functionality of the error state tracking. You'll see that there are no monitors in error state right now, but if any of them do enter error state, they will bubble up to be at the top here, and they'll also cause the the rectangle around synthetic to turn red if it wasn't already red. From here, you can go directly into your revenue opportunity by clicking here. It will take, eventually, it's not currently functioning that way now, but it will take you into the conversion rate curve for that, or over to the revenue opportunity page. So that link will be there shortly. And then if we look at, these two widgets look very similar, the first versus third party activity. There's a lot of functionality built into this. This widget is also in the tag and content governance overview screen, and you can look to see the slowest third party files, or all, if you want to include first party versus third party. But you can see that this particular font file is slow. And if you want to, you can actually say, okay, I want to know about all the slowest files that happen on my page before the onload event. And by selecting that, it will change the view to give you the slowest files that loaded before whatever that timing metric was. So time to interactive is what I had it set for, but you can change it to other like first contentful paint, or first meaningful paint, or time to DOM interactive, whatever. Or you can say, just give me the slowest things that are on the page regardless. So first to last byte, I don't care when it loaded. I just want to see the slowest things that are on the page. And so these are the slowest files, which also include API calls, any network call from the page, okay, is what we're showing here. And then similarly, we're showing the first versus third party function timing. These are the long running functions that are happening on your pages. And so these slowest functions are showing you by domain, by the service, and the file name. So you can see that we have a synthetic measurement going to Newegg, for example, and you can see that the service is, or this file is this gfplib.js, right? And the duration is 473 milliseconds. So anything, according to Google, any JavaScript function that stays in the stack for more than 50 milliseconds, that's 50 milliseconds, is a long-running function. So this one is nearly 10 times longer than what Google says is a long-running function. Okay, so it's worth looking into. And this, the drill, we're going to be doing a bit more drill down from this widget right directly into the function tracing to give you more detail about this particular file and what pages it's on, and other things like that. Currently, we have the ability to go in directly from here. So I'll demonstrate one of these. So if we have a slow third party and we want to understand what the slowest file is, we can actually select there, and that takes us into the domain details page. And the idea is, let's see what's slow on that particular page. You'll see that this g.jsonp file is the resource for that. You see the pages that it's on versus and the pages that it's not on. Again, this is synthetic data that we're just measuring some sites on the internet. Okay, so this is just for demo purposes. And so you can see that this particular issue happened at the 9 o'clock hour, where this went to about 2.3 seconds on this particular page. So that bubbles up and lets you see what the slowest issues are for whatever the time period is that you have selected. But from here, you can go anywhere to the RUM data, to the business analytics data. You'll see that I actually have this bottom of the funnel analysis, and typically I have this at the top when I'm showing off the home page. So like I'm going to show now, you can drag these around, you can put them into the different places to configure the way that you want to use it. So this bottom of the funnel analysis is another really cool screen, and you'll notice that we have a really high granularity based on users that traverse from one step to the next step during a checkout process. You can see here that users overall from the point of adding to the cart and that went to the order confirmation page was something like 65.8%, and how that has trended over the last 24 hours based on the timing that we have here. Okay, you can see this goes from the 20th to the 21st and the 11:42. So it's updating every few minutes to give us more granular detail. So whenever there's a problem on one of your checkout steps, we're going to be highlighting this in red, and then we're also going to be putting a red rectangle around the marketing and business functions so that you know that there's an issue related to your checkout process. So those are some of the main changes. A lot of these widgets are brought in from other modules, and again, you have the ability to add many modules, widgets from the other modules, and they're available right here for you to configure in your homepage. Okay. Another kind of key thing is the homepage for your login is a login specific thing. So as you create your view for your homepage, that is basically your experience for, so you don't have to worry about your homepage interfering with somebody else's homepage. Okay, any questions?
I think we're good, Tim. All right, so that is all we have for you today, guys. We appreciate your time, and if you have any further questions, we're happy to speak with you offline. So feel free to reach out to your customer success manager with any questions, or you can also reach us here in support anytime via the Help Center at help.bluetriangle.com, or you can email us at support@bluetriangle.com. And for more information about Blue Triangle product training, like how to watch past sessions or how to register for upcoming ones, be sure to check out our Help Center. Again, that's help.bluetriangle.com. And when you're there, just click the big button for product training, as Tim is showing you right now. Also, just a reminder that if you found this session helpful and would like to watch it again or share with someone, we will post a recorded version of it in this product training section very soon. And before then, you should also get an email from us with a link to watch the replay right after we're done here. All right, guys, so that's all we have for you today. Thanks again for your time, and we hope to see you in our next session. Have a great day.
Thanks, everyone.